Hello, guys. Welcome. This is Unworldly Perspectives. I'm your host. I'm Dr. Kimberly F. Wilson, and I am about to give you guys a history buff. The topic tonight is the origins of the word black. If you are dark pigmented skin color, I am going to share with you guys on why black is not something. Hey, Mr. Derek, how you doing, love? Welcome to the show. This is going to give you guys some history on why Black or African American really was not meant to be something nice for us. I'm going to start by first giving you the Webster Dictionary of the word black. And if you guys want to come in to say something, please let me know and I can call you and you can talk on the subject as well. We're going to go over the definition of black, what the Webster Dictionary says it is. It is very darkest of color. It is the absence or complete absorption of light. That is what the Webster Dictionary says black is. But how many of you guys know? Hello, Miss Tiara, please share. How many of you guys know that black is really not a color? Black is not really a color. Black derived from England, and they describe black for the word tar. So they was describing black from tar. And so as history went on, African Americans, I'm going to say, because I hate the word black, but I'm going to use African American, they began to be irritated with the word black and elected to be called African Americans. But at first, you guys know it was Nigga or Negro. Then it descended from black, and then it went on to African American. Well, in 1988, that is when black was not deemed to be okay. It was a campaign in Chicago led by Jesse Jackson. You know, he's always in the different conferences speaking up for the race. He decided to say that black, along with a lot of other African American leaders, that the word black was deemed to be offensive and that they did want it to be called African Americans. Well, I'm going to give you guys a correlation. If someone calls you a bitch and that word is very offensive to you, and they then say, well, I'm not going to call you a bitch. I'm going to call you a slut or a whore. You still being offensive, but you just decided to call me a different name. That's still offensive, but watered down a little bit. That's the same as the word black. You still calling me a Nigga or a Negro, but you just watered it down with the word black. So how many of you guys out there in the TV land and on Facebook Live still want to be called black? Because you're still being called Nigga or a Negro, but it's just the watered down version. Peace and blessings to you as well, love. It's just the watered down version. So for me, don't insult my intelligence. Go ahead and call me a bitch, or go ahead on and call me Nigga. If you're going to water it down and call me black. How many of you know the Native Americans deemed black as darkness and death? Their interpretation of black means darkness and death. So I most certainly don't want to be attributed to first. The Webster Dictionary is not really a color. It's the absence of light. I don't want to be affiliated with that. I don't want to be affiliated with tar, and I definitely don't want to be affiliated with darkness and death. Right, both of them are all the same, Mr. Dare. I totally agree. When you called black or African American, it's still offensive. because our heritage derived from Africa, but because we was born in America, does that make us African American then? That's just like, think about this correlation. If a baby is born in the hospital, does that make that baby a hospital baby? Because she was born here, she was born in a hospital. So how can you then call us African Americans? So both correlations are very offensive. So which one would you guys prefer? TV land and Facebook? Exactly. Exactly, Mr. Dare. We're Americans. Just simply, you can, if you're going to give us that title, you can leave the other part out. Because you're still being offensive when you try to put them together. So which one would you guys prefer to be called, Black or African American? Because on several job applications, or if you're filling out something for the hospital or whatever, you guys notice that under your ethic part, some applications have African American, some have Black. I don't affiliate myself with either one of them, so I don't check anything. Because I'm not saying I'm Black, and I'm not going to say I'm African American. So I'm not going to check any box. We're American. We were born in America. So that's just like the correlation I said. If a baby is born in a hospital, does that make the baby a hospital American? Come on now. And Jesse Jackson in 1988, they fought for the word Black to be not used, and African American to be replaced instead of the word Black. I really don't allow either label to be applied to me. I will tell you, I'm simply a child of God. That's a good one, Tiara. I think labels are foolish because you definitely want to teach. That's how racism and stuff happens, because people are taught to be treated a certain way based on the color of their pigmentation, and racism is taught behavior. For an example, my daughter is 5 years old. She doesn't know anything about race because I don't teach her that. She have friends of light pigmentation and friends of dark pigmentation, because it's important to me that she loves everybody equally. And so that's taught behavior. Kids don't grow up knowing to hate a certain different pigmentation. That's something that has to be taught. It is very. Right. It is. It's a way. And so if you I get very offensive if I hear someone of light pigmentation saying, there go them Black people over there. I take a deep breath a little bit, because you really, to me, have said, there goes those NIGGs over there. Because that's the same word. It's just watered down. So you basically just said, there go those niggas over there, right? So I'm offended by that. But first, you want to educate them and ask them, do you know where the word Black derived from? If they say, oh, no, 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 then that's your time to educate them. Because everybody don't know that they're being offensive. So before you get upset or get angry, that's your time to then educate that person on, you shouldn't use that word. If you don't know that person by name, then you shouldn't say anything. But you shouldn't use that word. I am of mixed descent, and it was said that one drop of black blood means I'm Black. If you know me, I'm lighter. Right, right. So why is that so? And then it is some very harsh words when your pigmentation is a little lighter and you have uh, dark pigmentation mixed in. Kids of mixed pigmentation gets teased a lot. Um, Used offensive like Oreo, and different things like that. And again, that's all taught behavior. Because Oreos is something I'm eating with some milk and cookies. You know what I'm saying? Oreos is not something that I'm going to label someone pigmentation as. So I'm going to get me a good glass of cold milk and eat me some Oreos. But a lot of people use these different words to describe us. And we have to be educated so that we can educate our seeds, and so our seeds can educate their seeds. That is why they're trying to take the history books away, because they don't want us to be educated truly of who we really truly are. That's why I always share a mind is a terrible thing to waste. You want to be educated. That way, when you're called a certain thing, you can check them in the history way and give them the business educatedly. Oh, the other pigmentation that's really racist, really hate when you check them. When you know your stuff, you educated, and you unbothered. You're unbothered. Right. The light skinned ones did get treated a little better in slavery, as Miss Tiara stated. Uh, they got to stay in the big house. They were raped more often than the dark pigmented ladies. And so the ones with the good hair, they were treated a little bit better, but still slaves, but they were treated a little better. They may got to eat a little better food than the darker pigmented women did, but they were still considered slaves. Yes, reading is definitely fundamental. So, do you guys agree with them taking the history books? That hello, Bruce, cousin, welcome, welcome. This is Unworldly Perspectives. Topic tonight is the origin of the word black. Do you guys agree with them taking the history, trying to take the history out of the history? Because, see, you cannot have a present without a past. You can't have a now without a then. So it's important that our babies know the real deal, the real struggle. It's important that they know the Dr. Martin Luther King's, the Rosa Parks, and all of the struggle, Harriet Tubman, all of the struggles that us dark pigmented people had to do just for us to be able to have some of the rights. But let's be real clear, it's still some racism out there. It's just covered a little. They try to cover it just a little bit more, but it's still some very deep racism. Stigma is out there. You see it when you have a high um, job. When I worked in law enforcement, I had to prove myself a little bit more than a lighter pigmented person or male. So racism still exists very highly. Very highly. So what do you guys think about? Do you think they should remove the books, the history books out of the libraries or not? And my thing is Congress got more to worry about than trying to take the history books. This economy is trash. You can't, it's cheaper to go out to eat than it is to go in the grocery store and feed your family. Help it make sense. You want to take away history, but let's address these food costs. You can't go get a pack of meat. $100 in the store now is like $1. Chicken is $15 a pack. It's cheaper for you to take your children, your family out to get a 2 for $5 deal than it is for you to go in Super One or wherever it is that you shop and get you and your family something to eat to cook at home. But you have the audacity to be worrying about history and things that you should not be worried about instead of addressing the serious issues. Yeah, systematic racism at its finest. Systematic racism exists. It exists in the schools. It exists at your job. It exists everywhere. Absolutely, Mr. Derek. They need to update because it's some lies. It's a lot of lies in the history books as well. Racism is very much prevalent. It's masked from the way people are hired. Ashley will get a call back from the Shanquinika, even when the same credentials. That is absolutely true. So, prime example, guys. My name is Kimberly. Some people think I'm of white uh or colored, higher color, y'all know what I mean. Lighter color pigmentation. I try not to use white or describe people in that way. So when they look at my credentials, they believe that I am of a lighter color pigmentation until I step in the room. And then they look down at my credentials and look at me because they perceive that only the light colored lady can stack and roll these degrees and these accolades. But once I begin to speak in so high educational, the only way you will not hire me is because you're racist. Because I'm qualified, but if you don't call me back and you call Becky back, you're racist. Because it surely can't be because I'm not qualified. And then sometimes they'll use you overqualified for the position. That's another way, y'all out there, of your way of telling you too dark pigmented for the position. Racially ambiguous thing is right. That's right. Verbiage. There you go. The Karens, the Kevins have thrown the covers off because of the racist Donald Trump. He opened up a wound wide open again. It can't be covered. Change the north. Yeah, your credentials will make them either walk or talk. Yes, our past president, I try not to even give him the honor of calling his name. I call him the guy with the cricket toupee. He got too much money for his hair to be looking like a flat tire. Let's just be real clear. But the guy is ignorant. You know what I'm saying? And his main objective was to divide, conquer, and destroy. Whether you with him or you ain't with him. I'm not saying whether you Republican or Democrat, whichever one you decide that you are is on you. Whichever one you decide is whatever. But in my opinion, the Republicans and the Democrats need to get it together. Because again, we're going in the store. $100 is laughing material. My heart goes out to the people that's trying to work and provide for their families that's not getting the blue card or whatever your state color is. If you're not getting some food assistance, it's hard on your pockets, especially with these kids being out for summer vacation. These kids are eating you out of house and home. Yes, this is true. This is true. Bruce says it's some blacks that like to distance themselves from blackness. This is true. I'm a woman of dark color pigmentation. So throughout my career, I've had to fight just a little bit more. I've had to fight just a little bit more than a lighter pigmented lady. But again, my name makes them feel like I'm of light. light pigmentation. And so some people, to make it, they fake it till they make it. They don't want to be associated with dark color. I know some in the medical world that is dark pigmented only have light color pigmented friends because they feel like that's going to get them through a little bit. I don't want to fake it. I'm going to get through. Either it's for me or it's not for me. And I don't want to fake it till I make it and be identified with someone that I'm not. But it's to each his own. Everybody feel, hey James, cousin, how you doing? Everybody feels differently. But some people feel like that's the only way they can make it, by being friends with Becky. Exactly, Tiara. That's taught behavior, though. It goes back to, if you teach your children to don't see pigmentation and love people based off their character, because to me, you can be dark as the night. And if you have an ugly spirit about yourself, if you ignorant, I don't want to be bothered. Period. If you don't know how to handle your business, or if you got a bad spirit about yourself where you always miserable, I call those spirit drainers. I don't care what color your pigmentation is. Stay away from me. Period. Gets with a T. Or the messy people. I always got something bad to say about people. Yeah, that's me too, Bruce. Your name will carry you because sometimes they'll think that you a light color pigmentation Bruce. But it ain't about your pigmentation. You have to make sure that you are true to you. And that you spread love and you teach love to your offsprings so that they can do the same thing. But longest we have the world, racism is gonna exist. It's gonna exist. They're gonna change the word to different words to match their agenda. It's all about an agenda. So if you hear some people talking about African American or using the word black very aggressively, 9 out of 10 they know that the black is another way of them calling you a Nigga or a Negro without using the word. Yeah, without using the word. So just to recap, I do not think they should change the books. I don't think they should do anything. Like Mr. Derek said, if anything, they need to update the truth, the whole truth, because a lot of it was watered down. A lot of it was watered down. And so, since we're on the subject, a lot of people were celebrating the death of the lady that filmed on Emmett Till. How do you guys feel about that? The lady that, because of the color of his skin, again, because of his pigmentation, lied and said that he whistled at her. If you guys don't know the story, they then beat him, had him unrecognizable. But his mother wanted the world to see what they had done to her son. She thought she stand firm, boldly. But the lady that carried that lie all these years and decades, finally passed away of cancer. And I saw a lot of people on Facebook celebrating this woman's death. What do you guys think about that? Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to decide how we want to be treated. But it's a lot of stuff in the history books that was done just based off the color of our pigmentation. And as I stated, Emmett Till's story is a powerful one, but because this young boy was uh, of dark pigmentation, because let's be clear, she wouldn't have never ever done that if it was a lighter color pigmentation, young boy. They are. They are. It's setting them up for a lie. It's setting them up for a lie because a lot of stuff has been omitted. A lot of stuff has been omitted to fit their truth. A lot of stuff has been omitted to fit their truth. But yeah, I saw that. I think it's been about a month ago. But yeah, they were celebrating her life. I mean, her death. Um, and you can look at it both ways. You can definitely look at it both ways, but that was a prime example of systematic racism because she should have went to jail. They found no evidence that he actually did that. So what do you guys think about that? So hopefully you guys knowing what the definition of black is, what black was meant to be, that black was replaced in the word of Negro. That's just like someone calling you um, a bitch, a slut, or whatever. It was replaced with Negro. You guys will not allow yourself to be called black again because it's definitely meant to be very offensive. And as Juneteenth come along, we're celebrating freedom. But what are we really free from? What are we really truly free from? If you guys think about it, what are we really truly free from? Yeah, we don't have to go in separate doors than lighter pigmented individuals. We can eat at the same restaurant, but it's still underlining racism. And Tiara brought a good point up. Leadership pushed it back out there where they was hiding and doing it. It's now been pushed back out there where it's deemed okay to do this. If you notice, since this one said person, it was already mass shootings, but the mass shootings have increased tremendously since said person spreaded hate. But then I work in the mental health field, guys. We have to check on our people. We have to check on our people. When someone tells you that they're thinking about doing A, Y, and Z, take them seriously. It is not nothing to laugh at. It's not a joke. That is the time to act then. They are crying out for help. I agree. I agree. I agree. I don't think her death was nothing to be celebrated at all. I felt like if anything, it was time to educate again our children to know that this woman she passed away from cancer, but her lies ate her up. That was that karma. They labeled it as cancer, but that karma ate her heart up. It had to, because what they did to that baby was horrible. And so to live with that many decades, I know they had to eat her up. Right, right, right. But I believe it needed to be an educated moment then to explain to our youth what has happened. I just believe in educating. But one person, it goes back to what the point Miss Tierra made. One person can't make you do anything. But if you see your family, your friends, or whatever in trouble, because everybody is suffering for something, people just hide it better than others. Some people may be wearing 10 masks, others may be wearing only 2. But because your pigmentation is a little darker, you have it a little worse than others. But you can't feel sorry for yourself. You got to get up and get out and do something. But if you see someone that is suffering from mental health illness and they're not their self and they're telling you what they about to do, they're calling out for help. And it's a stigmatization in the Black community that getting African American community, however they labeling themselves. I like to use dark pigmentation. That getting help for mental illness makes you crazy. That's absurd. You want a person to get help, than to not get help and not be healthy for themselves or their family. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If you're not mentally okay, it's going to then follow where your health is not going to be okay. And it's dark pigmentation even in the health field. You're not going to get the same care if you don't have that good care insurance. Let's just be clear about that. If you ain't got that good health insurance and you dark pigmented, you ain't finna get nada. You're gonna be sent, if you're in Louisiana, you're gonna be sent to Oshner's and you're gonna be there for 3 days. Yes, because those thoughts of negative actions can be manifested into reality, and those actions affect way more people's lives than people think. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you got someone on there saying, "Well, I got this gun. I think I'm about to go shoot some people," it's time to call the police. It's time to call somebody to get them the help that they need, because eventually you can't take a chance on whether they're going to act on it or not. Your actions to be counter to get in the mix and get them people some help can save a whole lot of people's lives. Can save a whole lot of people's lives. The reality of racism stems from generations of mental health issues throughout generations. That is correct. That is correct. Mental instability has cost us a lot, and it goes back as far as racism. To hold someone hostage without uh, their against their free will and free choice, you're not all the way there. It's something mentally unbalanced about you for you to think that that's okay to do. But as I stated, dark pigmentation, even in the mental health field, going to go get services in the mental health field. Some providers do not accept Medicaid. Some providers will not accept Medicaid at all. And so, what do you do when you're trying to go get help and some of the providers won't accept Medicaid? Well, with my position, a lot of them don't accept it because the state doesn't really pay at all. And so how do they feed their families? When the state should pay a lot more than what they do, actually. But they pay, for an example, you may have a $76 visit and the state may pay $40. Right, right. And if you're going for mental health counseling or whatever the case might be, and your dark pigmentation and you don't have insurance, that's it. They're not going to see you. They're not going to give you the help and the care that you deserve. But if someone of light pigmentation came in, they may not accept their insurance, but they're going to refer them somewhere that does. Right? Shakita said, I was once told by a person that I was crazy for going to talk to a therapist, but I knew I had to talk to get over some things. That's a good point, Shakita. Let me share with you guys, my TV audience and my Facebook audience. Let me share something with you guys. You're crazy if you realize you need help and you don't go get help. Then there's something wrong. In my field, we are assigned a therapist and we have to see them. If we do not, we cannot practice at all. We have to see a therapist because the therapist need a therapist. You need someone to disclose some things about yourself or some things you may be struggling with. And it's a very hard job, y'all, to take on to bear other people's crosses. It's very tough to listen at someone else's problems and sometimes not take it home. Especially when you're dealing with something that may be a kryptonite for you. For an example, if you love children, if you're helping out a child that is struggling with some mental health issues, it's going to really bother you. It's going to get really tough. Your heart is going to really ache for that child and their family. Because guys, it's very hard to take care of a child that's in need, that has some mental health issues, as well as a child that has some health issues. It's very tiresome on the parent. And my heart goes out to a single parent that is trying to take care of that child to the best of he or she abilities. We must make sure that parent gets some help. Mental health is very important, someone that they can talk to. But no, Shakita, you went and got the help that you needed, and I'm sure that made you feel better and made your life a lot better. It's nothing wrong with going to go talk to someone. It's something very wrong when you decide that you're not going to talk to someone and then you begin to affect the people around you. You begin to hurt people around you, because y'all know the saying, hurt people hurt people. And so when you then decide that you're gonna just be a domino effect, where you're gonna just start wilding out or whatever it is that happens when you're going through your mental health crisis, you're affecting other people. You're affecting other people, just like drugs. When someone is addicted to drugs, when they're addicted to drugs, they don't realize how it's affecting other people. But you have to make a decision for yourself. Can no one make you go do anything when you grown? It has to be a decision, and then you guys want to surround yourself around people that are not enablers. Someone that if they see you in trouble, they're going to recommend you get help or go get you help. Okay, now. So, do you guys think that Juneteenth is important? Do you guys think the Black History Month, February, and Juneteenth Day is important? Because some jobs are not even honoring people to take off for Juneteenth. Do you guys think Juneteenth Day is important? All government buildings, banks, etc. should be closed. Or which one do you think is important, more important, Black History Month or Juneteenth? Which one of those you guys think is important? I think both of them has its equal importance. Black History Month as well as Juneteenth, but we need to educate about 1865. We need to educate because again, it goes back to what are we really free from? Exactly. That's what I just said, Mr. Derek. We wasn't really free. 1865, what were we free from? That's what I'm asking. What were we free from? What were we free from? Because in 1988, Jesse Jackson, and a host of other dark pigmented leaders was asking not to be called black, but to be called African Americans. It was crosses still being burnt in yards. Kids being killed. Emmett Till was killed because of them thinking he did something and the lady singled him out because of the color of his skin. So what were we really free from? Anybody else? You said Miss Lynn, you too? Yes, I think both of them are equally as important because we have some amazing um, people of dark pigmented skin that has done a lot for history. Prime example, Madam C.J. Walker. A lot of women benefited from this sister, and her estate still has products because it was a lot of kinky hair, you know, looking a hot mess. And so this sister created a product for us with coarse hair to have the ability to straighten it out. So you most certainly got to appreciate that. And as I stated, all these decades, she still has products. Her estate still has products out for women of dark pigmentation to be able to do something to their head. So we have a lot of great dark pigmented inventors, and all of that. So we definitely need Black History Month. Um, but it goes back to that word black. We're celebrating people of dark pigmentation, but we're using the same word that they used to call us Negroes and niggas. We're celebrating us, but we also calling ourselves. So instead of us saying Black History Month, we might as well say Nigger Month, right? We just went over history. It was nigger, negro, and then they fought for us to be called black. And then Jesse Jackson and other leaders decided, no, black is still offensive. Call us African Americans. Neither one of them is good. Okay? Neither one of them is good. So are we calling Black History Month Nigger Month? Because we already established it's the watered down version of nigger. So we celebrating us, but we also diminishing what our great leaders were able to accomplish because we're in essence calling them Negroes. So it's a double-edged sword. So what do we do? Welcome, Monique. What do we do? Because that's in essence what we're doing if we're celebrating Black History Month. And we're saying Black history. And we're doing this all February. And it's everywhere. Black history, Black history, Black history, Black history. It's all over. So, in closing, I want to challenge you guys to make people call you by your name. If they don't know your name, tell them your name. You're not Black. You're not African American if you are darker pigmentation. You're your name. Teach your children the correct history and not the history that they've depleted, took away. Do not teach them to love people based on their pigmentation, but to judge them by the person that they are. When you go on a job interview or you filling out a job application or a state application for assistant, they cannot deny you if you refuse to identify yourself as Black or African American. I am not going to identify myself as a Negro, and I'm not going to identify myself to the second word that you gave me just to keep from calling me the first word that you gave, and that was Black. Because in essence, you're still saying I'm a nigga or I'm a Negro. I'm not going to identify myself at all on that. Again, it's just like if I called you a derogatory word and you told me, Kim, I don't like that word, and I then called you a secondary derogatory word. How that makes sense? So ask yourself when you going about your everyday life, what are you labeled as? Who are you? By accepting those terminologies were condoning the agenda they set forth are our demise. That is correct. By accepting that, because if I'm in a meeting with you and you say, I'm in here talking to this Black woman, I'm offended. I'm offended immediately. Now I've learned how to conduct myself in a professional atmosphere, but I'm gonna check you. You know what I'm saying? Because you just disrespected me. If you're a lighter pigmentation, I didn't say, oh, I'm in here talking to this white woman or this white man or this Native American or whatever. That's offensive. You have a name. But we've already established what the word Black means. So if you in here telling someone you in here talking to this Black woman, you've just told them you in here talking to this nigga. Okay? That ain't gonna fly with me. That's not gonna fly with me. Because that ain't how we gonna roll. That's very disrespectful. So don't accept what society wants you to accept, and definitely don't accept it and then teach your children that that's okay to accept it. Be free to be who you are and not labeled the way society wants you to be labeled. So I gave you all of the reasons of why, if you have dark pigmentation, TV land and Facebook world, of why you should not accept the terminology of Black or African American. It's your choice and your choice alone. But leave it blank. The more people stop accepting labeling themselves, they'll stop putting it on the applications altogether. Because what is it important for? Why do you want to know my ethnic background for? Why is it important? You want to know why? Because if they see your background, and if they don't want dark pigmentation there, they ain't gonna call you because your experience should speak for itself. Why is it important that you know my ethnic background? Why? And then also, certain jobs get money from the government for hiring certain ethnic backgrounds as well. So don't be fooled, y'all. When you tell your ethnic background, they're getting money off of you because they're getting money to hire a certain amount of dark pigmentation, a certain amount of Native Americans, a certain amount of lighter pigmentation. They're getting paid. It's grants out there that's paying them for that. Are you going to see any of that money? No. So why label yourself a why answer? As we go through Juneteenth, my next show will also be about educating you guys on making sure you know who you are, know where you're going, and know where you're headed. It's important. We have to be wide awake. We got to be woke. Because if we're not, it's a lot that's going on. Educate yourself about what's going on in Congress is important. It's very important on whether we are about to head for another recession. That's important for the working class people. It affects prices, gas prices, all of that. You need to know about health care for you and your children. So educate yourself. Make sure you're not one of them people that don't know what's going on. Also, y'all, with us going in a recession, don't keep all your money in the bank. You paying them to hold your money. Don't have all your money in the bank because the way we're going and the way they over there messing with these other countries, we may be at war at any time. You never know when you need to pick up you and your family and get out of Dodge. You know what I'm saying? So don't keep all your money in the bank. Keep a little bit to pay your bills, but always have you some cash on hand because the way we going right now, we don't know when we got to get the booking. You know what I'm saying? And you need to have cash on hand because if the banks go under, your debit card ain't gonna work. Stuff not gonna work. Stuff not gonna work. I love you too, baby. So don't have all your money in the bank. That's important. The banks go under, the stuff stop working. That's it for y'all. So keep your money. Okay? Keep some money to yourself. If you don't feel comfortable keeping it in the house, get you a safe. Keep your money in your safe because you never know. I really appreciate you guys. My time is just about up. I got about 3 or 4 minutes. I really appreciate you guys coming on, sharing your dialogue with me. I will post my next topic. I'm on every Tuesday at 7 o'clock from 7 to 8 p.m. I am on Facebook. We'll be on YouTube as well. I will go live on Instagram. All righty. Okay. I'll be live on Facebook, Instagram, as well as